Greetings and welcome to Nathan Lyle Official, and if you have never seen my face in a video before, well, what the fuck is wrong with you? How can you not know who I am? Don't you realize I'm famous? I don't have time for this. I'm just kidding, don't go away, please stay, I need the views. If you've never seen my face in a video before, my name is Nathan Lyle, and this is my personal channel where I upload vlogs, reviews, and anything else that happens to catch my fancy. And this week for Media Monday, I've decided to do a top 5 list, this time with songs from the 90s. And now let me describe in somewhat greater detail what I mean by songs from the 90s. This was inspired by a recent episode that the Fine Brothers did of teens react to 90s music. And I realized that there are a lot of songs that they keep skipping over. I decided to just go over some of those. So basically what this is a list of the top 5 songs that were only really famous for a few months, but for those few months you could literally hear them played everywhere. But now everyone seems to have forgotten they existed, and no one ever brings it up in conversation unless I bring it up in conversation. But then if I start singing it or if I start playing it, suddenly everyone in the room that was around during the 90s, they suddenly just remember every single word off the top of their heads. But I can't fit that all in the title, so it's just going to be called Top 5 90s Songs. We'll start with a couple of honorable mentions. Both of these kind of cheating. They shouldn't really be on this list just because even though they're from the 90s, I didn't actually listen to them in the 90s. Like, they're 90s songs, but I didn't hear them until like in the later 2000s when I heard them either on a movie or in a TV show and then looked them up. Still some of my favorite songs, and they come from this really great decade of music. I just didn't happen to listen to them at that time. I didn't catch them. Because back then, there was once a time when we didn't have internet and we couldn't just look up all our favorite songs. You would just have to sit there listening to the radio all day and then hope that your favorite song came on, or you could call in and request a specific song. I remember learning how to make my own mixtape. I had the radio and I had the cassette player that was part of the boombox, and then I just, I put a cassette in there, and then when I heard my favorite song coming on, there would be announced, oh, and now blah 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 by blah blah blah, and then just run over there, quickly hit record, so now I have the song and I can listen to it whenever I want. Anyways, moving on to the actual list, I had trouble picking out which one of these I really liked more, so I decided to order them based on which is the most known. So starting from 5 to 1, 5 is the one that the most people know, and 1 is the one that the least people know, based on the brief survey of the people who I converse with on a regular basis. And number 5 is the impression that I get by the Mighty Mighty Bosstones. And the only reason this is 5, it was actually originally number 2, but it's dropped to 5 simply because recently it was featured on that episode on the React channel. Teens react to teens know 90s music, and now suddenly the view count has seemed to double overnight, and everybody's like, the React channel brought me here, and blah 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 blah. But before then, in my personal life, anytime I would bring this up, people were like, who? But it's an amazing song. It's really fun to listen to. Late 90s ska. It's so classic. Moving on to number 4, we have a song that if you've heard it at least once, it is impossible for you to forget it. So number 4 on my list is definitely the most known of all of these songs. It's Semi-Charmed Life by Third Eye Blind. If you were born anytime before 1992 and you don't know this song, shame on you. There is something so fucking wrong with you. Every single TV show that I can remember had at least one episode where they found some way to throw this into some sort of montage. This song was literally everywhere. Even if you've never heard the full song, you should at least be able to recognize it from hearing it. Like, it should be somewhere implanted in your memory. Next, we move on to one that's fairly well known by mostly everybody that I talk to. It's one of those songs that, like, if you've heard it, you know it, but it doesn't seem to get around as much as it used to. It's definitely a really old song. It's very classic, but most people don't. I've never heard of this artist. At least that's what it seems like to me in my daily life. I'm rambling too much. Let's get to the point. Number 3 on the list, Breakfast at Tiffany's by Deep Blue Something. But yeah, this is a song. But yeah, this is definitely one of those songs that, like, even though it almost never gets talked about in daily conversations, any time that it starts playing, everybody in the room just always seems to know it. Or at least the chorus. Nobody knows the verses. Everyone knows the chorus. And number 2 on the list, easily my favorite music video of all of them. Definitely check this one out as soon as you get the chance. Save Tonight by Eagle Eye Cherry. I feel like it's not as well known as it should be. There are a lot of people who they hear the song and they recognize it, but there aren't a lot of people who, like, if you just say the title of the song and the name of the artist, it won't immediately pop into their head. But most people who were around during the time of its, like, bigness, when it was first like a hit, most people, they can hear it and they will recognize it. Still a fairly well-known song and very fun to sing, and it's got a pretty decent story as well. And as I mentioned before, it's a great fucking music video. I really loved the idea and where they went with it. I thought it was really amazing. It's definitely one worth checking out. Just go relive it over and over again. And we finish off with one that, even if it wasn't the least known, this might have ended up number 1 anyways. It is one of my personal favorites. But for so many years, I wasn't even sure if it actually existed. Because before the internet was a big thing, like, I had trouble finding this song. And I had trouble finding people who believed me about this song. I swear, this song was everywhere for a while. For like 10 years of my life, I could not walk into a mall to do any kind of shopping, whether it was clothes or groceries. This song would play at least once. If I was there for more than 20 minutes, I would hear this song at least once. And in case you haven't already just paused the video and just read through the description, the number 1 song of the top 590 songs is Roll to Me by Amitri. It's an amazing, really fun song. It's really awesome song that for some reason it seems like it was never that big. At least it seems like it wasn't as big as I remember it, because nobody else seems to know who the hell I'm talking about when I mention the name of this artist. So yeah, that's my list of top 590 songs. And for those of you who didn't watch the entire intro, or you just have a short attention span and forgot already, this is just my personal opinions, and I went out of my way to skip any of the biggest name things, like, you know, no Backstreet Boys, no Spice Girls, you know, no theme songs, because there are a lot of TV shows with great theme songs that I would have loved to put on here. So I had to find different ways to narrow down the list. So yeah, I just wanted to share some of my favorite music from the decade that I grew up in. Every time I listen to these songs, it brings back nothing but good memories. Even though my childhood really wasn't all that great, the music that I listened to was so damn amazing. What happened to the music industry? It just went south so fast. And Carly, if you're watching this video, I'm pretty sure every single one of these songs existed before you were even born. So I would be impressed if you've actually heard of any of these. First, I would think you're lying, but then if it turns out that you were actually telling the truth, I would be very impressed. For those of you who are new here, links in the description below to all of this music. And if you enjoyed this video, feel free to click the like button, leave a comment down below. Have you heard of these songs? Please tell me you have. Please tell me I'm not the only person on this planet who remembers Amitri. Whatever. Anyways, like, comment, subscribe, all that other good shit. And until the next time you see my face in a video, my name is Nathan Lau, and I hope you have a good day, week, month, year, life, whatever. It's all Gucci. On the road!